Let's be honest, folks. When we talk about money, we often think in terms of thousands, maybe millions if we're lucky. But there's a whole different stratosphere of wealth that most of us can't even begin to comprehend. $1 billion is already an absurd amount of money. It's more than most of us could spend in a lifetime, even if we tried. Now imagine 1,000 of those billions piled up. That's $1 trillion. It's a number so large, it's almost abstract. That, my friends, is the reality for a select few, the trillionaires. These individuals have amassed fortunes so vast, they could fund entire countries. These aren't just rich folks. They're in a whole other league. Their wealth puts them in a position of power and influence that is almost unimaginable. They hold enough wealth to reshape our world, and they often do. Their decisions can influence global markets, political landscapes, and even the fate of nations. But here's the kicker. It's usually not in ways that benefit the rest of us. While they live in unimaginable luxury, the rest of the world grapples with issues like poverty, hunger, and inequality. We're talking about people who could end world hunger, solve the climate crisis, or provide universal health care, all several times over, and still have enough cash left over to buy a small country. Yet they often choose to hoard their wealth, pouring it into yachts the size of cruise ships and vanity space programs, all while millions struggle to put food on the table. This isn't just a matter of personal choice, it's a systemic issue. The concentration of wealth in the hands of a few has far-reaching consequences for society as a whole. When so much wealth is hoarded by so few, it creates a vacuum that sucks resources away from the rest of us. This leads to underfunded public services, crumbling infrastructure, and a lack of opportunities for the majority. Meanwhile, the ultra-wealthy continue to indulge in their extravagant lifestyles, funding space exploration projects and purchasing lavish yachts, while the rest of us are left to deal with the fallout. This level of wealth disparity isn't just unfair, it's a five-alarm fire for democracy and the very idea of a just society. When a small group of people hold so much power, it undermines the principles of equality and fairness that are supposed to underpin our society. It's not just about the money, it's about the power that comes with it. Trillionaires have the ability to shape policies, influence elections, and control the media narrative. This kind of power can be dangerous if left unchecked. It's time to stop pretending that trillionaires are harmless eccentrics and start recognizing the very real dangers they pose to our world. Their actions have consequences that affect all of us, and it's up to us to hold them accountable. We need to demand more transparency and accountability from those who hold so much power. It's not enough to admire their wealth from afar. We need to scrutinize how they use it and the impact it has on society. The time for complacency is over. We must recognize the very real dangers posed by extreme wealth and take action to ensure a more just and equitable world for all. Over the past 50 years, we've seen a dramatic shift in the global economy. The landscape of wealth and power has been reshaped time and again by a series of economic booms and busts, each leaving a lasting impact on the world stage. It's been a roller coaster of booms and busts, with each twist and turn creating opportunities for the ultra-wealthy to amass even more wealth. These economic cycles have not only influenced the financial markets, but have also had profound effects on societies, altering the way we live and work. The 1980s saw the rise of deregulation and globalization, paving the way for corporate giants to emerge. This era marked the beginning of a new economic order, where multinational corporations gained unprecedented influence and power, often surpassing the economic clout of entire nations. Then came the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, followed by the 2008 financial crisis, both fueled by reckless speculation and a blatant disregard for the little guy. These crises exposed the vulnerabilities of the financial system and highlighted the stark inequalities that exist within it. And let's not forget the more recent tech boom, where a handful of companies became more powerful than entire nations. The rise of technology giants has transformed industries, disrupted traditional business models, and created new paradigms of wealth and power. Each of these events, while devastating for many, presented golden opportunities for the already wealthy to exploit the system and consolidate their power. The ability to navigate these turbulent times and turn crises into opportunities has been a hallmark of the ultra-wealthy. They swooped in to buy up struggling assets for pennies on the dollar, influenced government bailouts in their favor, and emerged from each crisis richer and more powerful than before. This pattern of exploiting economic downturns to accumulate wealth has been a recurring theme throughout history. Looking back, we can see that these economic cycles are not a new phenomenon. Throughout history, empires have risen and fallen on the back of economic booms and busts. The ability to adapt, seize opportunities, and leverage crises has always been a key factor in building and maintaining wealth and power. As we move forward, the modern economic landscape continues to evolve. New technologies, shifting geopolitical dynamics, and changing societal values will undoubtedly shape the future of wealth and power. Understanding the patterns of the past can provide valuable insights into what lies ahead. However, it's important to recognize the impact of these cycles on economic inequality. While the wealthy have often emerged stronger from economic crises, many others have been left behind, struggling to recover. Addressing this disparity is crucial for creating a more equitable and sustainable future. The interconnectedness of the global economy means that the actions of a few can have far-reaching consequences. Collective action and thoughtful policymaking are essential to ensure that the benefits of economic growth are shared more broadly and that the system works for everyone, not just the privileged few. As we look to the future, there are opportunities to build more resilient and inclusive economies. By learning from the past and fostering innovation, we can create a world where prosperity is more evenly distributed and where economic cycles do not disproportionately benefit the wealthy at the expense of the many. The booms and busts that have built empires also offer lessons for building a better future. With a vision of equitable growth and a commitment to addressing systemic inequalities, we can hope for a world where economic opportunities are accessible to all and where the cycles of wealth and power benefit society as a whole. So who are these trillionaires? Well, you probably know their names: Bezos, Musk, Zuckerberg. They're the tech titans who control the platforms we use to communicate, consume information, and even shop for groceries. Then there are the less visible but equally influential players in finance, energy, and real estate. The puppet masters behind the curtain, pulling the strings of the global economy. They operate with near impunity, using their vast fortunes to influence governments, crush competition, and shape the world in their image. They claim to be innovators, disruptors, even visionaries. But behind the carefully crafted PR campaigns and philanthropic facades lies a simple truth. Their primary goal is to accumulate more wealth and power, regardless of the consequences for everyone else. Your attention, please. Social media and mind games. Let's talk about social media, shall we? It started as a way to connect with friends and share cat videos, but quickly morphed into something far more sinister, a tool for mass manipulation and control. These platforms, owned by those same trillionaires we've been discussing, are designed to be addictive, keeping us glued to our screens, scrolling endlessly through a carefully curated feed of content designed to keep us engaged and spending. Our data is mined, our preferences analyzed, and our every click tracked and monetized. We've become products, sold to the highest bidder, our attention spans auctioned off to corporations and political operatives. The price of power inequality's ugly side effects. This concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few has devastating consequences for the rest of us. It's no coincidence that we're witnessing a surge in economic inequality, with the gap between the rich and the poor widening at an alarming rate. Meanwhile, our planet is burning. Climate change is accelerating, fueled by the very industries that have enriched these trillionaires. And what are they doing about it? Sure, some are throwing a few $billions at green initiatives, but it's often just a PR stunt to appease the masses, while they continue to rake in profits from environmentally destructive practices. Time to act. Can we rein in the runaway rich? The gap between the ultra-wealthy and the rest of us has never been wider. As the rich get richer, the middle class shrinks, and the poor get poorer. This isn't just a statistic. It's a reality that affects millions of lives every day. So what can we do? How can we address this growing inequality? It's a complex issue, but there are steps we can take to level the playing field. Are we simply doomed to be ruled by an unaccountable elite? The concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few is not just an economic issue. It's a threat to democracy itself. When a small group holds so much influence, they can shape policies and laws to benefit themselves at the expense of the majority. Not if we have anything to say about it. Grassroots movements and community organizations are rising up to challenge this imbalance. They are demanding transparency, accountability, and fairness. It's time to fight back against this unchecked greed and demand a fairer system for everyone. We need to advocate for policies that promote economic justice and ensure that everyone has a fair shot at success. We need to start by getting money out of politics. Campaign finance reform is crucial. When politicians are beholden to wealthy donors, they are less likely to represent the interests of ordinary citizens. Closing tax loopholes that benefit the ultra-wealthy is another essential step. These loopholes allow the rich to avoid paying their fair share, shifting the tax burden onto the middle and lower classes. Investing in strong social safety nets that protect the most vulnerable among us is also critical. Programs like affordable healthcare, education, and housing can provide a lifeline to those in need and help reduce inequality. We need to break up monopolies, regulate big tech, and ensure that no single company has too much control over our economy or our lives. Competition is essential for innovation and fairness, and hold these trillionaires accountable for their actions. It won't be easy. These folks play dirty, using their vast resources to influence public opinion and policy. They have an army of lobbyists and PR spinners working overtime to protect their interests. These lobbyists are skilled at manipulating the system to maintain the status quo. But we, the people, have something they don't: strength in numbers. When we come together, our collective voice can be powerful. We can push for change, demand justice, and create a more equitable society for all. The fight won't be easy, but it's a fight worth having. Together, we can rein in the runaway rich and build a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.